Hi everybody, welcome to Wool and Wine. I'm Tammy and it's a very unusual episode. It feels really weird to me to not have the girls here with me. So Claudia and Janet just did a podcast last week while I was gone, and I thought I'd jump in here real quick and get you all up to date on what I worked on my vacation. So I'm wearing the Tolsta tee by Rebecca the Crayabea. This is one of 3 that I made this year. I just love this thing. It's just so good. It fits so perfectly. And I actually bought some yarn to make another because evidently 3's not enough. So anyway, let me talk about some of my finished objects. You know, I pondered a lot about what I was actually going to take, and I decided on socks and a cardigan. So I did get the socks finished. I think they turned out really cute. I just made little anklets. And I learned a couple of things about self-striping yarn from the last pair that I made, and I was actually able to apply that to this pair to make my life easier. You probably all already know the trick, but when you're starting off, you make a tail of whatever the last color was so that your very first stitch is the first stitch of the new stripe, so that when you cast on the second sock, you're able to wind off that little nubbin and start at exactly the same spot again with the first stitch in that same color. With the blue ones that I did some time back, I didn't do that, and it was a mistake, and it was hard to get the stripes to match up just right. So this really isn't a pattern. It's sort of similar to the Andrea Mowry socks, but I kind of, aside from using her stitch count and the Fleagle heel, which I had already learned, I really didn't do much of that. So I did a 3x1 rib on the back of the sock, but on the front I slipped every other knit stitch. So it was purl, knit, slip, knit, purl, and so on. And I did that only on the front until I finished the heel, and then I continued the slip stitch pattern there. But I wear a lot of short booties in the wintertime, and I like that little bit just sticking out over the top. So I forgot to bring sock blockers, but you all know what socks look like. So anyway, I'm thrilled with these. These are knit in Fibernymph Dyeworks Bedazzled. So here is her label, and the colorway is Cuddle Time. I just love Lisa's work. Her self-striping yarn is just gorgeous. Here's what I have left. And I weighed this. I did take a scale with me in case I ran out of projects. I would have enough yarn. Or to make sure I'd have enough yarn to cast on another pair of socks. But in this case, I did not. I didn't need it. So that's one finished object. Another I did not take with me, but I finished it since I got home, and this is the Solare by Locatelli. And here it is. Isn't that just gorgeous? So I used the Prime Alpaca. Let me see, I bet you I did not bring the ball in here with me, but you can see here how light the Prime Alpaca is, and I held that with a strand of Mohair. And again, this is Fibernymph Dyeworks Mohair. So I love it. It's just off the blocking mats. It is absolutely snuggly and warm. I think I had like one sleeve partially finished, so I went ahead and finished that sleeve and then finished the second one. So maybe I'll be wearing this when we all get together and podcast next week. And before I forget, when we podcast next week, we'll probably podcast on Tuesday, but we're actually going to save it and make it a premiere during Pia Tran's knit-a-thon again. So we get to support her on that. So, and I think that we support her at midnight on Saturday. So even though we're recording on Tuesday next week, you won't see it until following Saturday during her knit-a-thon. But we're real excited to be able to support that. Okay, so that's actually all I finished. I have a whip, and this I did work on lots on the vacation. It is the Bentley cardigan by Greene. And I did this in Simply Sock Colossal sock. So it's a skein of, I want to say it's 150 grams. And I had 2 skeins of this, so I alternated skeins throughout. It was, you know, it's a flat knit cardigan, so I just knit I knit down and back with one, down and back with the other, and then when I got to the sleeve, I alternated on every row. And it looks, yeah, you can see it in the viewfinder. To the naked eye, it looks kind of the same. So it seems like both skeins must have been a little darker in the beginning and then lightened somewhat, because it looks like I used one skein to here, and I did not. It was alternated throughout the entire thing. And then I had a skein of, I think I do have, yes, I feel it. It's Knit Picks Hawthorne Fingering in the Portsmouth colorway. And that's what the cuffs, hem, neckband, and button band. And I just picked up for the button band, so there's only just a couple of rows on that. But anyway, loving how this is turning out. I did bind off the bottom, and you can see right here, I bound off and I tried it on, and it seemed like the back was raised up a little bit. There are not short rows. I don't even know how you would do that in a cardigan. I guess maybe after sleeve separation, just put a few in. But I made one before and I didn't seem to have that problem with it. But for this one, I went ahead, picked out my bind off, and starting, I don't know, a few inches from both ends, I did enough short rows to add, let's see if I can turn it around, there you go, added about an inch to the bottom center of it. And it's just a, pretty gradual slope. When you put it on, you don't necessarily see it at all, but it keeps it from riding up and being a little bit shorter in the back center. So real happy with that. I have one more sleeve to do, and I have these 2 partial skeins left. It feels to me like there's almost 50 grams per, so it was a lot of yarn. And the sweater is designed to have 3/4 length sleeves, so that part was not, I didn't make any modifications on that. I am gonna do, so for the sleeve, it's got a little split and it's offset from the underarm. I offset it by 15 stitches. I'm not sure if she actually said in the pattern, but I did do a little I-cord loop here, and I will probably make a firm bobble out of this yarn and this yarn held together to make a button, because I think it'll be hard to find a button. I may look, and if I've got one, I won't go through all that trouble, but if I don't find one that matches just right, I've done that before, and it turns out pretty good. So I have a whip that I started on the vacation as well, and it is another pair of socks. So the yarn I'm using for this is the Regia 4-ply, and does it have a color? 05062. But I'll tell you what, if I was naming that, I would call it confetti, because look at those beautiful colors. And then this peach ball is Millimia, and the color on this is Coral Punch. And this is actually what I used on the toes of that first pair of socks, and it just went so well also here. I thought I would go ahead and use it again, and for these, this is no pattern at all. I'm just doing a top down, and on my Ravelry project page you'll find a link to the Pico cast on that I used for these. I just think that's adorable. These may end up being for gym shoes, and would that not be the cutest thing popping out of the top of a little white sneaker? So we'll see. It may be high enough for a couple of my boots, my little booties. But I also on this used the shadow wrap heel, and I had never done that technique before. But look how nice. And it's exactly the same on both sides. So the link for the cast on will be there, the Pico cast on, and the link for the shadow wrap heel will both be on my Ravelry page. So that's as far as I got, and of course I'm using 9-inch Circs. That's my favorite sock way of knitting. I had to cast on this Pico edge though on a #1. I think I used a 42 or a 47-inch cord on that, because it's a 64 stitch sock, and 64 of these little picos is, I'm not even sure I could fit it in the frame if I had it on a cord right now. So anyway, now we're into acquisitions. So I'm not going to go over all the places that we went. We were busy. We were gone for 32 days and had a fabulous time. And I can tell you, we started in Zurich, Switzerland on a river cruise. We ended in Amsterdam, but we had a lot of places along the way in both France and Germany. And in Amsterdam, I did go to Stephen and Penelope again and got this cute little bag. I say little, it's not really that little. It's holding 5 skeins of yarn, and there's plenty of room for more in here with it. So I could not resist picking up some of the Stephen and Penelope brand West Wool 2 skeins of tandem, or not 2. I have 4 skeins of this and 1 skein of the aqua. And let me see if it actually has a name. This is called Tandem Glass, and this one is called Tandem Brackish, and it's coming across a little bluer than it is. It's more of a teal color, but my plan is with 4 skeins of the darker color to do a color work sweater, and this be my color work. So loving the idea of that, and the girls don't know it yet, but I did pick up some gifts for them while I was there, because you know, when you go to Stephen and Penelope and you've got some amazing knitting friends, you want to be able to share that. So they'll see some of that love here pretty soon. And you know, it's funny, I'm wearing the Tolsta tee, and I said I can't get enough of it, and I cannot. So our friend Terry made a Tolsta tee a while back, and she used cotton for hers, and it was in these colors, and it is such a classic, classy, clean look that I decided, stopping in one of the yarn shops along the way, and I did take some footage of every one that I went into, so there'll be some footage of that at the end. But I picked up the Katia, or Katia, K-A-T-I-A, Memphis. It is 100% cotton, and this colorway is 03, so that is a, I think, Snow White. And then this is colorway 43, and I would call that a camel color. So I've got 2 skeins of that, and my plan is to possibly cast on with the white and just do a couple of rows, go into the camel color and knit, oh, you know, a couple of inches or so, and then start introducing stripes of the white. And I'm pretty sure that this is more than enough to make a sweater, so I'll decide how many stripes of the white I use through the body. But it looked so good. When Terry wore hers with a pair of white jeans, it just looked killer. So I'm hoping to be so lucky. Alrighty, so one more acquisition I made was at a really cute yarn shop in Zurich called Tutalena, and I bought 2 different colors of Lang, I guess I should show this label, the other one's pretty jacked up, Lang Malou, and I bought it in this beautiful deep, let me see if I can block the light and get it better, beautiful deep teal color, and then this nice medium gray. And these are both baby alpaca. They are 72% baby alpaca, 16% polyamide, and 12% wool, and they are amazing. This color is 887.0005 and this one is 887.0088. Both gorgeous, and I did start knitting on this. This is the Saturday Shrug, I think. Shoot, now I said that, it may be the Sunday Shrug. Anyway, it's by Jackie of Caddy Jack's Knits, and I have started striping this. I think it's going to be gorgeous. It is soft and fluffy, and yes, you can see light through it, I think. But I think it's going to be deliciously warm as a shrug to pull down over my shoulders. So anyway, aside from some clips that I'll put in at the end from the yarn shops that I went to, I do have a few really short video clips of me wearing some of the tops. Well, I had a whole outfit on, not just the top, that would be wrong, but some of the me-made tops that I took along on the trip, and I only did that a few different days. I was having Rick videotape me out in front of the riverboat a couple of mornings, and then one morning in the hallway on the riverboat. So I don't know what happened with the rest of them, but if there are any of us together that actually show the top that I'm wearing, I'll go ahead and pop those in too. But next time we see you, it's going to be all 3 of us, and that'll be next Saturday. So anyway, bye for now. Thanks for watching.